Hello everyone, this is Kat. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do some more stitching. It's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and what I decided to do is to do the colorful cat. Let me see if I can move you up a little bit. There we go. This is it. And where we're working at is right here around the eye. I decided to start there. And so we're going to do our thing here, and I hope the music's not too loud. I'm listening to some Celtic music for a change. And I just thought if we'd stitch a little and listen to some pretty music. Yeah, I got, my daughter didn't get home until 2 o'clock in the morning. She had to work over last night. And they didn't get off the line and whatnot until like 1. And then she took a young lady home from work. She doesn't have a car yet. And so she took her home, and by the time she got back to the house, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. So it was pretty late. As you can see, I've got this thing on a clamp. And so it's going to be a little steadier than usual. You know, hopefully this will work a lot better than that holding it in hand. Been not being lazy today. Haven't done any chores yet. So I got up this morning, I swear it feels like a truck ran over me or something. It just stiff and sore this morning. So I went in and I took a hot shower early this morning, hoping that would help. And it did a little bit, but not much. That's all right. We'll work it out as time goes on. As you can see, I can stitch a lot faster two-handed than I can single-handed. So yeah, I started two-hand stitching several years ago, and so I'm gotten very comfortable with it. And unfortunately, it's hard for me to do it single-handed because it's putting all the pressure on one shoulder, and so it kind of gets a little tiring after a while. I'm hoping the lighting's okay and we're not, but I'm afraid we're getting a bit of a shadow here. So, but what we're working on is the center of the eye of the cat. So we'll be switching out the color here in just a bit. Yeah, I was looking through some stuff the other day, and I ran across a photograph of my grandson when he was real little. and he was trying to impress a girl. I'm gonna have to move this, okay? He was trying to impress a little girl. Now you gotta remember, this kid is like, at the time, he was about, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old. He was just starting out noticing girls. Anyhow, so he was trying to get this girl's attention that he liked. Excuse me. Uh, and So what he did is he decided to snag one of uh, my son-in-law's razors, and he decided he was going to shave his head. Right? Don't ask me. I guess it's a boy thing. I don't know. Anyhow, he shaved his head partially. Okay, are we still in? Yeah, we're there. Okay. Anyhow, so he took and he shaved his head in spots, okay? And but he didn't shave the whole thing. So, and during the evenings, um, after Jesse got off of school, he would come to my house because I would be at home by then, and I would watch him in the afternoons and into the evenings um, for his mom. Okay. And so anyway, he was wearing a hoodie, had his hood pulled up, never thought anything of it. And he was sitting there in front of me in the living room where he was playing with the dog that I had at the time. And his hoodie fell off of his head, while he was playing. And I noticed his hair. And I said, Jesse, come here a minute. And he came over and I looked at his head, and he had spots, of bald spots, I don't know, about the size of a $50, I guess. Anyhow, I had no clue what was going on, why his head was only partially shaved. So I got on the phone and I called my daughter, and she was at work. I said, "What y'all do to Jesse's hair?" And she goes, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, he's got bald spots all over his head. He looks like he's got the mange and whatnot." And she's going, "What?" Yeah, and I started laughing. I said, "Yeah, he looks like he's got mange or something." And anyhow, she came in late. When she picked him up, she looked at his head. She wanted to know why he had done that to his head. And later they had to end up shaving his head completely bald, right? Because there was no fix on that. And what it was is he was trying to get this girl's attention that he liked, that he had a big crush on, and that's how he did it. He got her attention, all right, but he never did get to claim her as his girlfriend. But but it was funny. I I don't know if it's just my family or does all kids do that. I don't know. I have no idea. But we've got some, I can tell you tales of some of the things kids have done that, completely throws me for a loop, you know. I remember this one time, this is back when Melissa was a little girl, and she had this little friend of hers, what was her name? Beth, I think. It's been a while, but anyway, they were teenagers. They were, 11, 12, 13 years old, somewhere right in there. And we stopped at the store and we got bottles of, something to drink, a soda. And Beth picked out a Mountain Dew that she wanted. And I said, okay. And she was in the back seat of the car and I was driving. Okay. My daughter was in the front seat. And she apparently was sucking on the bottle and causing uh, like a pressure in the bottle, and it literally sucked her tongue down into the bottle and got it stuck. Don't ask me, I have no idea. I finally got her home. We got her back to the house, and we were trying to get it out of that bottle without breaking it, because back then they were still selling sodas in glass bottles. And so I ended up having to get a hold of a spoon and use the butt end of a spoon to break the seal, so that was the way she could get her tongue out of the bottle. Oh my goodness. And I couldn't help, even at the time I thought it was funny. But I mean, like I said, the kids do some weird stuff back then. And I don't know if they're still doing stuff like that today or not, but boy, I'm telling you. um, but yeah, kids do funny things. That's for sure. Come on now. It's not wanting to go. There we go. And, but those are just a couple of the stories that, they're little short stories. But I tell you what, I don't know. I wonder if my family is the only dysfunctional family out there, because they do some weird stuff. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's hard to tell on this side. I may have to move the light a little bit so it's not quite so shadowy. How about that? Does that work any better? Yeah, I think it does. It's not interfering with the video. So, all right, that'll work. Mm. But yeah, they did some strange stuff. Let me tell you. But then again, we weren't much better. We used to do some weird stuff ourselves, you know. So yeah, I was watching some of these videos where these guys or these young fellas are doing stuff, and they're, you know, landing on certain parts of their body that isn't meant to be landed on. Let's put it that way. And the thing is, you go, come on, buddy, you know darn well it was gonna if you're going to end up landing that way, so why did you do it? Kind of thing. But like they say, young and dumb. Oh, so mhm. Yeah, I was watching Star this morning on her channel, and then I need to go over and visit this one lady. I can't remember her name. Anyhow, it's she's got a new channel going on, and I need to go over there and visit her and subscribe, so that way I can help her like people have helped me and growing the channel, because I understand it, she's only been putting out videos for about the last 4 weeks. So I go over there and give her some love. And I cannot for the life of me remember. She had an odd name. Pixie Peach, I think was her name. I think that's what it was, Pixie Peach. And she's kind of new, got a new channel running. And so if you get a chance, pop over there and, just, give her a little love and, give her a like, a comment, and subscribe and whatnot. Because I haven't been over there yet. I got to go over there later today, I think, and because Star mentioned her. So there's a shout out for you. Go over there and check her out. You know, another one is was it gosh, what's her name? I'm not very good with remembering names. Um, she she's not new, but she's not been she's fairly new, and she calls herself Rhino, and I think her channel is, I think it's Creative Chaos with Rhino. I think that's what it's called. Now, I may be completely wrong. But like I said, I'm not very good at remembering the names of people's channels. And, but if you get a chance, pop over there and check her out and give her a like and, a comment and subscribe, and also help her channel grow as well. Yeah. But as you can see, I stitch a lot faster two-handed than I do one-handed. Unless I get stuck not in where the needle doesn't want to go through. Then it slows me down considerably. Yeah. And but no, I haven't really done much anything today. I've been just kind of hanging in the house, more or less, not really wanting to go outside today. And so I've just been kind of hanging in my room and whatnot. So what are y'all doing? What do you put in the comments what kind of things y'all are working on? I'd love to hear about it. You know. Yeah, but I do appreciate y'all coming over and liking my channel and subscribing and leaving me comments. I love to get the comments and read them. I may take maybe take you a day or so to get to them, but I do try to answer them if at all possible. So just comment and tell me what you're working on. You know, like I said, my channel is not strictly diamond painting. It's diamond painting and cross stitch. So, and some days I feel like doing diamond painting. Some days I'll decide, well, I want to do some cross stitch for a change. You know, I did work on that white tiger this morning, though. That's for that event coming up um, with Diamond Grandma. I think she calls it the zookeeper, I think she said. And so, plus I've been working on Eeyore, of course. Um, and then a couple other different paintings, and so I keep myself busy, that's for sure. Mhm. I'm one of these people that I do not like to sit idle. I have got to have my hands moving and my brain engaged. If I don't, feel like I'm stagnating, like old pond water or something. Gotta have something to think about, something to keep my hands busy. I just never have been one just sit around and do nothing. I just can't do that. Even watching TV, I've got to have my hands going. You know, back in the day, I used to sit and watch television and crochet, but I don't crochet too much anymore. Just, I don't know. I spent a lot of time crocheting when I was um, slowly going blind because of the cataracts. And I was actually crocheting by feel. And so, and I spent like 2 years doing nothing but crocheting. I think I got kind of burnt out on it. But I made 4 Afghans in that time period, you know. Yeah, I get my daughter to help me pick out the colors. And I'll ask her, well, what color is that? And she'll tell me. And then I'll say, well, will it go with the color I just got done with? And she'll go, well, not really. And I said, okay, well, let's find a different color then. And, and that's how I used to do it. I get her to pick out the colors for me. But yeah, I did. I did like 3 or 4 different Afghans. But then again, I was spending a lot of time, not being able to see. And then on top of that, I had a couple of visits to the hospital and had to stay in a hospital a couple of times. So, not fun, let me tell you. Yeah, last time I was in the hospital, I had got an infection in my toe and ended up having to, because of the infection, had gotten so far that I ended up having to have the toe removed. And that was the last time. That was like, a year and a half, 2 years ago. And so I don't want to do that again. That's the problem with being a diabetic. Your poor body is very susceptible to infection. It can do a lot of damage. You can do a lot of damage and not even realize it. And well, I think this is going to be the last stitch on this one because I'm running out of thread. So I'm going to flip this over and tie it off. As you can see, it's really short. So I'll just go like so. And come on now. Like so. And then I cut her off. So, come on. All right, trim this one off a little bit. Like so. Then, luckily I've got another thread all ready to be threaded. Oh, there's my needle threader. I'm going to tell you what, I'd be lost without this thing. And the reason I say that is because I can't see the hole in the needle very well. So without this, I'd be lost. Whoop. There we go. Now let's put it back on the clamp, like so. Are we in shot? I hope. Yeah, I think so. All right. And how I put this, I think I've told you this before, but if you haven't watched it before, what I do is I do a pin stitch right in the middle, like so. And that makes, it anchors your thread, and then I go up this way and then back down. And that way your thread is anchored to where it's not going anywhere. I don't know what type of start that's called. I have no idea. I just know that this is the way that I find easiest for me. So yeah, we're going to end up having to cut this too and start someplace else. I'm going to jump over here, and then after this I'm going to have to cut it and start again. Yeah, you can see the bruising on my hands. Every time I bump into something, it brings the blood to the surface. And so I walk around with a lot of bruising. So I promise it's not elder abuse, I promise. It is just that I run into things all the time. And because of that, I walk around with these big knotty bruises. Okay. See, I trim as I go along, and that way I don't have all these little tails to go back and work look for. So, I hope you can see this. Yes, let's get you a little centered right there. I can't see you, so I am right in here. Okay, as long as I know we're in frame, we're okay. Get in there. Sometimes it's hard to go through that center. Yeah. Yeah, I had worked on the autumn house for a couple of days that I decided I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to work on something else for a change. Yeah, so I decided to work on this one. Mhm. Yeah, I started um, cross stitching. I first started out, I think I told you already, but I started out with a counted cross stitch, and that was many, many years ago. My daughter was very little. You know, she was about 3 maybe, and and she's now in her 40s. So, but when they came out with these printed ones, and I was watching one of the YouTubers working on one that was printed, I said, "Huh, I wonder if I could do that." So I got on AliExpress and ordered my very first one, and I'll have to dig it out and see if I can find it. But I never did mount. I never did mount it. I just finished it, and it's called Yang and Yang, and I believe it was a 50 by 50, I think, and it took me a couple of years to finish it, but I finally got it done, and then I went on to something else, and I've been working on these printed ones ever since, you know. And sure, I've got counted, but I don't even look at them anymore. I just got where I just can't keep count of where I'm at. So I just say, okay, well, we'll just stick to the printed and leave it at that. You know. And besides, they got some really pretty designs and patterns they've got. And so I can handle that. Yeah. Yeah, I had a tuna fish salad sandwich last night for dinner with a salad. It was very good. Yeah. I didn't want something really, really heavy, And with it being so warm, I decided to have something that I could classify as cold. And so that's why I had tuna and a salad. And I think my daughter's planning on making chicken and rice tonight for dinner. So we'll see. If she does it before she leaves. If she doesn't, then I'll dig out something else for dinner. Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait until 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning to eat. Even though I'm up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't matter. I can't wait that long, because I've got to have set scheduled meals because of being a diabetic. You have to eat, a certain amount of food at certain times, because you got medication you have to take and stuff like that. And so anyway, yeah, we made a big old batch of tacos the other night. What was it? Sunday night, I believe it was. And everybody pigged out on tacos. Yeah. Yeah, like once a month I'll buy dinner. I'll buy the stuff to make dinner with. And it's a little bit of a contribution, you know. Like, you know, sometimes I'll do a contribution and with the makings, buying the makings for like beef stew or chicken and dumplings or something like that. See, I'm not one for going out. I really don't care to go out and eat at a restaurant. It's too dang expensive for a large family, you know. And on top of that, I just don't care for it. I guess I'm picky about who handles my food. Let's put it that way. So some folks, it doesn't bother them that, but I don't know what it is. I just don't care to eat out. I much prefer my food at home. Yeah. Now, if you're just going to go out and, just yourself and go out to lunch or something, and it's just you or one other person, then the prices aren't too bad. But when you're talking 4 or 5 people, right, then it can get pretty expensive. So I would just as soon not do that. Like a lot of folks, I live on a tight budget. Only thing I got coming in is my Social Security, and that's it. And so all of that has to stretch to pay bills and pay the rent and all the other kind of stuff. And so if I have $50, $60 left over to do whatever I want to, I usually end up spending it on Temu, of course. Yeah. I was looking at Amazon earlier because I need a new tablet. My old tablet's about ready to bite the dust, I think. and it's slowing down, and it keeps shutting off, and it's just problems with it. So that's why I was looking at um, 7, 8 inch um, tablets. The one I've got right now is a 10 inch, and I don't need one that big, so I thought I'd get me a smaller one. And what I'm looking at is a Samsung, and it's I believe it's a 7 inch, I believe, and it's 32 gigabytes, which is pretty good. It's got good, that's good memory. And anyhow, and it's also got some other little features that I like. And so what I was thinking was trying to order that maybe next month, you know, and they're asking $124 for it. I know that's a bit much, but it is a Samsung and it's an Android. Because I want mine to be able to um, do things on the internet, you know, listen to books, you know, listen to a lot of the podcasts on the internet and various other things. I want to, I want to be able to use the camera if I want to. And so I do a lot with my tablet. That's why my poor tablet is getting ready to bite the dust. I've had it for about 4 years, something like that. And so it's getting there. It's time to replace it. It's got. I dropped it a couple of years ago when it cracked the screen. So, and then on top of that, it keeps shutting on and off without warning, and other times it'll just freeze up and it just you know won't do anything. You have to wait, and finally it'll catch up, and then the little thing will say, do you want to continue or do you want to close the app? And I end up closing the app and then having to reopen it. So like I said, it's old. It's getting there. It's time for a new one. And then I was looking at these table clamps put out by LBC, and that I had once before, and I can get one. Um, it has a um, the barrel type that you can clamp onto your table, and then and it's got a wide enough um, mouth on it that it will hold a small um, stretcher bar type frame. I said, oh, okay, well, I could do that. And it's not that expensive. It's like, I don't know, $25, something like that. And so I put it in my save for later. So I may try to get that next month too. We'll see. These metal clamps, they're okay, but I just really don't really like them. I much prefer the LBC. The only reason my clamps where it holds the hoop, right, it's stripped out and it broke. And so I said, well, it's time to get a new one. And so, and I just haven't had the money to fork out to get one, because they're not exactly cheap. All right, I've looked at the exact same kind that I had prior to before my old one broke, and it's like $54. So to me, that's not cheap. But anyhow, we'll just work with what I got until I can afford to do something a little different. We're getting there, making some progress. Yeah, got to keep an eye on my time though. I don't want to keep you too long. Yeah, before I got older and got married and started and had my daughter, I was very much of an outdoor type girl. I spent a lot of time on the outdoors. I did, a lot of horseback riding, going boating, went fishing, went hunting. Yeah, I used to hunt with my dad and, things like that. So I was very much a tomboy kind of thing. And I loved being on the outdoors. But I had a horseback riding accident that put me, out of the game. And yeah, I got thrown from a rogue horse. And unfortunately, um, he it broke my back. I broke 4 vertebrae in my spine, and I spent the next 3 years learning how to walk again. So, needless to say, my horseback riding days were pretty much over. But that's all right. I still love horses, and I think they're very beautiful creatures. Unfortunately, I can't ride them anymore. But that's all right. I can look at them. you know. Yeah, I tried riding after the accident and after healing, but I just couldn't do it. I just was not able to do it. It's not that I was afraid, it was very painful because you have to sit a certain way and the movements of the horse is very painful, and so I just couldn't do it. I tried, but I ended up having to sell all the horses because at the time we had 3 of them. And my daughter, she was pregnant and she couldn't ride. My husband, he wouldn't ride unless he was riding with someone. And so the horses just more or less went to pot out there in the field. They didn't. All we did was feeding them and grooming them, and that's about it. And so we decided that the best thing is to take and sell them to someone that would take care of them and also would use them, because these were well trained trail horses. These were not your typical run of the mill plugs, you know. And my daughter had one that he's called Little Man, and he was an old barrel racer. And he was a little bit older, but he wasn't. he wasn't in his grave. And but you know, that kind of horse, it's an athlete, you know, and these animals need to be exercised and rode, you know, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it anymore, you know. So, so we ended up selling the horses and getting out of that. But I did learn to walk again. Took me about three and a half years. But I had to literally have to learn how to do everything all over again. Yeah. The concussion that I got from the accident, um, doctors told me that was one of the worst concussions he'd ever seen. And he'd been, as a doctor, he'd been in, you know, practicing as a physician for 30, 40 years. He was an older doctor. And so that's saying something if he says he'd never seen a concussion so bad as the one I had. But it did a lot of damage. I mean, I'm not saying it didn't. It messed up my short-term memory, uh, gave me a stutter that I usually don't have. That's why I speak so slow. Um, and then on top of that, it gave me what I call a twisted spine because the spine didn't heal right. And so, you know, it is what it is. You know, you just learn to live with it. Yep, look at that. We're running out of thread again. Okay, that's my last stitch. Can't get any more out of that one. All right. There we go. Trim this off. And we got a whole strand in. Yeah, we did. Well, there we go. Looks pretty good. Yep. And I'm going to bring this to a close because we've been at it for almost an hour. Good grief. And so we're going to bring this to a close. And I will catch up with you again probably later tonight or possibly tomorrow. And y'all have a good day, a safe day, and, you know, be blessed. And God be on your side. Don't forget to say a thank you to God every now and then, you know. And we will see you tomorrow, okay? All right, bye-bye.